Hey, this is an Ultimate 10 system that doubled my testosterone. As you can see, I was a skinny bum right here. I had no muscle mass. I felt depressed. I had anxiety. I was stressed out. So I had to double my testosterone to become the Ultimate 10 version of myself. And what does that look like? Well, I'm going to take you through the whole process of how I doubled my testosterone. This is about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I was just skinny. Now I'm jacked. You know, I'm 6'2", about 215, pure muscle. That's what we do. Let me put you guys on real quick. Okay, number one, you have to prioritize, heavy lifting 3 times a week. Maybe you want to do it 5 times a week. It depends on each person. I like working out and lifting heavy 6 times a week and having one rest day out the week. And I'm usually doing body weight stuff on that rest day. It just depends on your schedule. It depends on who you are. But, stimulating testosterone and doubling your hormones, you have to be lifting heavy. And the best lifts are squats, deadlifts, bench press, pull-ups, over the head press. Every heavy movement is going to help boost your testosterone. So that's what you got to be doing. You can aim for 3 to 5 sets, get 5 to 10 reps and progress and overload every single day. Try to get stronger every single day. Push yourself to the limit every single day. That is where you're going to double your testosterone because you're pushing your body and your body needs to get stronger and it's got to produce more testosterone. And the more muscle mass you have, the more testosterone you have. So you got to be lifting weights. Second off, you got to eat on an animal-based diet, high cholesterol rich foods. It's that simple. The key foods are grass-fed beef, eggs, especially the egg yolk. The egg yolk has micronutrients that your body needs. I eat around 10 eggs right now. Eggs are great for your body. If you can't afford eggs, then I recommend you get a job so you can't afford eggs because eggs are jam-packed with protein, micronutrients, everything that you need. And then we got liver, butter, bone marrow, sardines. Those are always great for your body to double your testosterone. Cooking butter, butter's a great source to cook in. And then I also need to include steaks. Steaks are amazing. Have a steak day, keep the doctor away, have high testosterone, feel good about your life. Because high testosterone and cholesterol is key to having testosterone. If you're eating no cholesterol, you're going to be low on T because cholesterol is a precursor for your testosterone. It's a building block for you to double your testosterone to feel like a man. I seen this research that says 45% of our testosterone has decreased in the past couple of years. Our ancestors were maxing out their testosterone. They were outside lifting stuff, eating whole foods. Now the generation is going down the dumps. So, I got to help out and spread the knowledge. It's that simple. So I recommend animal fats. It's essential for you to get jacked. It's that simple. And as you can see, I got photos right here. That's a photo of eggs right there. Got some eggs, apple, and then we got some white rice. And then I usually go with the white rice with some eggs and then ground beef. In this photo, I think it's ground turkey, but mainly now I'm eating grass-fed ground beef every single time. This is a while ago. This is probably like a year ago. But now I stuck to the beef and I'm seeing way more improvement in the gym. I'm seeing way more strength in the gym because I just switched to beef instead of having ground turkey. So stick with the grass-fed ground beef. Trust me. And remove the chicken, bro. Do you want to be a little chicken? Just eat your beef, dog. Let's go. Okay. Most important, you got to be optimizing your sleep. Get 8 to 9 hours every single night. Deep sleep is going to spike your testosterone. I'm about to go to bed. As you can see, I got my blue light blocking glasses on while I'm making this video because I'm protecting my eyes so I can sleep amazing. And I blacked out curtains. My room is cool. And you can't be taking magnesium before you go to bed. It's going to help you sleep and it's going to help you recover. As you can see, this was me about 2 years ago. I was sitting inside with the blue screen right in my face before I went to bed. and I was playing video games, staying up to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., playing the game. You should not be doing this. You should be a grown man, coming back from work, putting on your blue light blocking glasses in a red room. Red keeps you relaxed. Red calms down the mind. So this is what you should be doing. I meditate before I go to bed. I pray, I stretch out, to calm me down, to relax me before I sleep. 10 out of 10. It's that simple. Hopefully you guys are taking notes. And then you have to master your stress. You have to be a stoic warrior. If you haven't heard of stoicism and you're a man, you can't call yourself a man, bro. It's that simple. You got to learn how to control your cortisol. As you can see, I'm in non-stressful environments. That's why my testosterone is so high. That's why you look at these photos and I have so much muscle mass, because I'm focused on managing my stress. I'm focused on the diet. I'm focused on being stoic, calm, peaceful. The only time I'm letting out that tiger is when I'm in the gym going hard, putting in that work. So you have to manage your cortisol, because cortisol is just going to crash your testosterone every single time. So you should be working on getting breath work in, natural sunlight, taking cold showers. Cold plunges are amazing for your stress. You should be cold plunging 3 minutes a day. I'm not, back in my hometown, we were hitting the creek every single day for 3 minutes to 5 minutes. I'm in Bali right now, so my stress is probably even lower because I'm living by myself, and I'm on the beach, and I'm going on walks in the sun. Sunlight is going to double your T. Vitamin D is amazing for your testosterone. And then you can also get ashwagandha. That's a supplement that helps you stay calm, relax, and it helps your stress. So you can test out ashwagandha and see how you like it. I used to try it. It was pretty good. Recently, I haven't been using ashwagandha, but, it just depends on your situation and where you are in your life. Hey, and some great movements. We already talked about compound lifts. Now we're talking about, lifting heavy and just lifting out during the week, and you should be sprinting. These are secret tips to boosting your testosterone. A weekly basis of you lifting should be like 6 times a week, and then have 3 heavy compound movements you do, like squat, bench, maybe overhead press or deadlift. You should be having those in there. And then you should always have like body builder workouts where you're targeting muscle groups like your biceps. You're targeting your lats, you're targeting your shoulders. Like, you got to be doing those movements too so you can build a good physique. And as you can see, I do sprints here. This was during the summertime. I was doing sprints. I would sprint the straights and then walk the turns. This is going to boost your testosterone and boost your growth hormone, so you can actually produce the most testosterone and be the top 10 version of yourself right fucking there. Hey, we already talked about that sunlight, that vitamin D. This is why it's so important. Morning sunlight, you should be getting 20 minutes of morning sunlight. Get outside, get sunlight in your eyes. This is going to impact your whole life. It's going to set your circadian rhythm so you can sleep good by the end of the night, and it's going to wake you up. And it's just overall so good for your dopamine. If you're waking up and going on your phone as the first light you see, you are a certified Jeff. You are certified average. I'm going to call you a 4. You're not a 10 yet. The 10 is going outside, praying, stretching, breathing the fresh air in. That is what the ultimate 10 is doing. And if you can't get that sunlight, then you should supplement with vitamin D. 5K IUs or 10K IUs. During the wintertime in Washington, I was taking about 40K IUs every single day because I'm black, because, I'm in the wintertime and I'm black. I need to be getting that extra vitamin D to double my testosterone, because vitamin D3 is linked to your testosterone levels. You got to make sure you're taking the vitamin D. As you can see, we're outside and getting vitamin D. That's what we want. Okay, now you have to eliminate testosterone killers. What are testosterone killers? Soy, seed oils, sugar, alcohol, plastic, BPAs, Jeff, As you can see in this photo, I was low T. I'm using a plastic container like a Jeff. This dude looks like a Jeff. The dude on the right looks like a top fucking dog. You see that shit? Because I removed the plastics and started using, stainless steel. I started using cast iron. I started using glass containers. If you work a job, invest into a glass container. If you're heating up that plastic, all that plastic is going in your food, going to your balls, lowering your testosterone. And then you should also be filtering your water. There's a reverse osmosis back in my hometown. Even in Bali right now, I got my glass container for my water, and we also get water shipped to our villa. So like I'm eating clean wherever I go. You can travel and still be the ultimate 10 version of yourself. There's no excuses. There's zero. Okay. How to daily boost the testosterone with some supplements, with some cheat code foods. It's that simple. Okay, if you want some great supplements, start taking zinc. It's going to boost your testosterone. It's going to boost your strength. And then magnesium daily. You can find zinc and magnesium in like red meat, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is great with magnesium and zinc for sure. You should be getting 30 milliliters, mgs of zinc every day. And then 400 mgs of, magnesium glycinate right before you go to bed. I try to get all my supplements in the food that I'm eating. So I'm eating a lot of red meat. I'm eating avocados. I try to get my dark chocolate in. I don't have any dark chocolate in Bali right now, but dark chocolate is amazing. But I try to get all my vitamins and micronutrients from whole foods. I don't really take any fully supplements right now, but you guys should definitely supplement with stuff if your diet is shit. But you should definitely be getting your diet straight before you even supplement. You should always have your diet first before you get any supplements. Okay. Now you got to practice SR, chat. This is spiritual right here. Practice SR. Semen retention, bro. If you're releasing your seed to girls on your phone, watching corn, being a Jeffrey, being average, you're going to be a certified beta male. I wish I would have put a photo up here of me being a beta male, because I used to be addicted to watching that stuff every single day. I was a Jeff. I used to, every single night, try to find a video and save it, save it for later, get a quick one off. Like, I'm a fucking Jeffrey, average. That's what average people do. You're watching another man get down and dirty with another girl. How do you feel about that? Do you feel good about your life watching a man do some sexual intercourse, Jeff? Does that make you feel good? I'm pretty sure it does not. So you gotta hop on SR and stop fapping, bud. You gotta hop on no fap. You gotta fully take out corn out of your life. Corn is the devil. I had strongholds with corn back in the past, and I had to break them, when it was hard, I went through relationships, what helped me get through that stuff. Actually having a girl is better than being on your phone, bro. But you guys should be waiting for marriage. You guys should be waiting for the right woman to, be doing all that extra stuff. Let's go. Retaining, builds discipline, it builds focus, it builds frequency in your body, and it's going to extend your testosterone. It's going to double your testosterone if you hold your shit in. I've seen some magical stuff ever since I've been on semen retention. I don't know if I'm going to let you guys know I haven't let it fucking loose, but, it's kind of weird. Yeah, letting it loose probably over a month ago, probably. But that your body naturally lets it go. Like if you're sleeping, if you're dreaming, but like you should definitely aim to 1 to 2 weeks, unless you're in a committed relationship. Your girl might want your semen still. She might get excited, so you got to be careful about that. But yeah, Chad, just hold your seed, Chad. Hold it in. It might be tough. You're gonna attract girls. Like I've been on SR, and like the girls look at me as candy, bro. Like they get so excited. Do you want that for yourself? Do you want girls to actually look at you like a fucking top dog, a top 10 G? It's your decision, bro. And what else is going to double your T? You got to be a man on a mission, a man with a purpose, a man with a masculine mission. As you can see in these photos, this dog's on a mission, bro. I'm traveling the world on a mission. to become the ultimate 10 version of myself and help other people become the ultimate 10. You got to drive, you got to be ambitious, you got to be alignment with your purpose. It's going to give you more energy, which is linked to higher testosterone. It's linked to being a top dog alpha. So now is your time to double the T. Now you got to start waking up early, training hard, building your brand, and repeat. Right here in these photos, I'm waking up early, I'm training hard, I'm building my brand, and I'm constantly leading the people around me. I have a community called 410 Academy, and I'm leading people to become the ultimate 10 through diet, through discipline, through a community of people trying to grow that are like-minded, trying to change their life, trying to stand out, and people that are just truly done being average. Chat, that is truly the video right there. That's my last slide. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Tap into your purpose, tap into your higher self, because nobody is coming to save you. You in the mirror is the only person that is here to help you out. You are the one. You can be the one that breaks chains in your family. You can be the one that separates yourself from the average. Average sucks. Average is working a shit 9 to 5 your whole life. I'm 20 years old and I got out of average. It's because I worked on doubling my T. I worked on the basics. I worked on getting structure in my day-to-day life and building a routine and stuck to the routines and built myself up and started my own business and started leading people. If you want to be led by a coach trying to help you level up, you can DM me 410 on my IG, or you can click the link down below and I'll help you out with 410 Academy. And if you haven't checked out some of my other videos, make sure you like this video and sub up and check out all my other videos. I'm here to grow. I'm here to help you guys grow. That's what we do. I'll catch all you guys later. You guys have a blessed night.